Hi friends, Dan here from Software Made Simple. Today's tutorial is how to print mailing labels in Microsoft Word from a list that you already have or one that you created. And we need to accomplish this in two tasks using both Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel. The first thing that we need to do is create a mailing list in Excel. It's pretty simple once you have the columns set up. So let's get started. Open up Excel and let's start with a blank document. If you're starting from scratch, you need to create column names that Microsoft Word will recognize. Don't worry, they're probably the same names that you would use anyway. Starting in cell 1, A1, I'm going to put my cap locks on and I'm just going to start typing column names that I think we would use. So if somebody was being addressed by Mr. or Mrs. or Dr. or Senator, I'm going to call this title. The next is first name. Next is last name. Don't worry if they run over. We're going to fix it. Address, city, state, zip. I'm going to add one more column called postal, and I'll show you why when we do the merge. The next thing we need to do is to adjust the column widths, which is easy to do. When your cursor becomes a cross hovering over the column, all you do is just adjust the width by dragging outward. Simple as that. Okay, so these are our column names. Then what we need to do is fill in the columns with your content. For the sake of time, my list is complete. I typed 9 names and addresses, and for this tutorial I just copied and pasted them to get more than 30 records. The reason I did that is because the Avery labels that we are using have 3 labels across the top and there are 10 labels vertically. That is a total of 30 labels, so I wanted at least 30 records. The last step we need to do is to save this file so you can import this again. Choose where you want to save it, hit save, and remember where the file location is. Open up a blank Microsoft Word document so we can begin to create a mail merge. The next thing is to create a mail merge. At the top, on the Mailings tab, click Mailings. We're going to be using the Start Mail Merge wizard so we can bypass the choices of envelopes and labels because we're going to be asked that question when we use the wizard. So let's start directly on the Start Mail Merge icon, and it asks us what type of merge are we going to do. In this case, we're going to be doing Avery labels, so we'll click on Labels. What defaulted here is the last label I used, which is the 5160 Easy Peel by Avery. You can see that the label vendor is set to Avery US letter. Our 5160 is chosen. We're going to hit OK. A new template automatically appears with 3 across and 10 vertically, a total of 30 labels. The next thing we need to do is select the recipients, so we're going to click on the icon Select Recipients. You can start by typing a brand new list. In this case, we're going to use the existing list we just created. It now asks us to find that, and I put mine on the desktop. And if you scroll all the way down, I'm going to choose my list, and you're going to see something that looks like this. The first label will be blank, and you'll see the word Next Record in each of the other fields. Not to worry, this is code to Microsoft Word, but we're going to be updating this with the actual names and addresses. Now let's put some content in these labels. So we're going to click on Address Block, and once you click on Address Block, another dialog opens, and it's asking us to preview what's on our list and how do we want that displayed. So if you didn't want the Mr. and Mrs., for example, you could click on the sample Joshua Randall and it will take off the Mr. and Mrs. In this case, we do want the Mr. and Mrs., so I'm going to format it this way. For your list, you can scroll through and see how do you want this formatted. I'm going to also hit Match Fields. Microsoft Word is normally used to seeing what's on the left, and we typed in our list what's on the right. So let's hit OK, and we'll hit OK one more time, and now you see the word address block in the first label, the word next record in each subsequent one. Under Rules, you'll see Match Fields, and you'll see another menu item, Update Labels. What we need to do is click Update Labels, and now as you see, it puts address block on each one of the subsequent labels. So what Microsoft Word is looking for is it wants the first name, and then it has a command of next record to go to the next address, and then the next record and the next address. Now it's not going to look like this when you print the labels, and we can see that by right here under the magnifying glass, we can actually preview the results. So let's hit that, and now you can see all the records. But we're seeing a problem here. Look at the record on the third right here. You can see how it's missing the leading 0. The Massachusetts address is missing the leading 0. And again, some of these addresses are missing the leading 0. So what I'm going to do is we're going to fix that problem. Turn off Preview Results. We're going to go back to Match Fields. And remember, on my Excel document, instead of the zip code, I also added a column on the Excel document called Postal. The reason I did that is because there has been a small glitch in Microsoft Excel for years that for those addresses on the East Coast that begin with 0, when you type it in a field, it does not show that 0. Even if you force a 0 using the zip code feature, it doesn't merge correctly. In this case, I wrote a small formula in Excel, brought over the 0, and now let's hit OK. Now let's hit Preview Results, and now you can see the 0 is showing on each one. The last thing left to do is to finish and merge and then print your labels. So we're going to go ahead and say Print Documents, and a dialog box comes up. Do you want to print all 33 records from our list? Do you want to print just the current record? Or would you like to print a range? Because there are 30 labels on the sheet, I'm going to choose a range. Label number 1 to label number 30, and I'm going to hit OK. The dialog box is going to appear. Make sure your labels are correctly inserted into your printer, face up or face down, depending on your printer, and hit OK. That's all there is to it. This is Dan from Software Made Simple. If you liked this video, please hit the subscribe button below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.